Put your eyes back in your head.
Popped out like flavor.
Pry their eyes open and force them to see the truth. We will skin the sheep and sacrifice the weak. The unholy alliance has arrived.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. What's happening, what's happening, what's happening? I'm your man, OG Truth with a 2. Hurts with a Z coming at you on a very, very, very disappointing weekend. Say what's up to the chat. Bucks, Rays, Boats. I'm pretty sure you happy today. Jamarcus St. Gilliam, I'm sorry. 1831. Excuse me, yeah. 37 Sauce. We'll do a weekend recap of our local teams. Pretty much a weekly recap, but we're gonna cover everything on the weekend. Let's start with our Hawks. Hawks on 3-game losing streak right now. They just completed game 4 of a 6-game road trip. They started in Toronto. They beat the brakes off Toronto, which is expected, and then the last 3 games they just quite frankly laid eggs against Denver, both of the LA teams. So right now they're sitting at 18-18, and you know every team got to go through this, man. Every team got to. All the West teams got to go through a deep East Coast swing, and all the East teams got to go through a deep West Coast swing. It is what it is. Everybody got to go through it. Right now, we 1-3 on the trip, and we closed it out. We closed the trip out with Phoenix and Utah. So hopefully we can rewrite the ship and have a 3-3 road trip and get on back to the house. We just got to play. Right now, it looks like the Hawks are getting exposed against more stiffer competition. I'm gonna put it like that. Still got fairly a young roster, so it's nothing to hit the panic button about. Just got to keep growing and developing for the young guys. And we coming up on a point where we are almost at the halfway point record-wise, 18-18 at 36 games. Simple math in an 82-game season would be 41 games would be the halfway point. So, again, let's just keep developing, I guess. And we got to make a decision on a couple of guys by the trade deadline, depending upon how we're looking as a team. I see 15 other people in here. Make sure everybody on 6-Man K Live, everybody on Man Mike Podcast, and everybody on Truth for the 2 TV, make sure y'all hit them buttons. So that's about it on the Hawks. Hearing the music in the background, it don't belong to me. But yeah, make sure y'all hit your button. Again, I'm your man OG Truth for the 2 Hertz with a Z. All right, we had a pretty interesting week with our Georgia Bulldogs. Had originally scheduled 8:45. Excuse me, 8:45. 8:45 start for Wednesday night, New Year's night. And then a unthinkable happened. Had a major tragedy downtown New Orleans on the morning of the game where some crazy motherfucker who claimed ISIS, well, at least had an ISIS flag on the back of his car, back of his truck, just went to driving at high rate speed, killed 10, 15 people, wound up getting into a shootout with the police, got killed by the police. For safety precautions, they moved the game to 4 p.m. the next day. While all that was going on, the day before the tragedy, head coach Kirby Smart, his father, Sonny, apparently he fell while down in New Orleans for the bowl game, for the playoff game. He broke his hip, and he went into surgery, and he passed away. That's the best I know on that. That's all I got on that. I don't know the particulars or the details other than I don't know how, people asking, was he sick? Was he going to did he have medical issues? I don't know, but former high school football coach Sonny Smart, who is the father of Kirby Smart, passes away at age 76. Meanwhile, while he was still transitioning, we got the football game. Georgia just pretty much couldn't get out of their own way. It was a lot of stuff that went on. I mean, it was, of course, it was fucked up officiating. Keyshawn, what's going on? Daniel Berry Sports, what's going on? George Bowles had a Sherman Wood, what's going on? Sonia Howell, what's happening? Boy, I got some names on here, Jack. Michael Williams, what's up? That teardrop. Georgia, again, like I said, they pretty much couldn't get out of their own way. We had two critical turnovers. And Notre Dame scored like 17 points in a matter of 30-some seconds, if you count the last minute of the first half and to the kickoff of the second half. And just to be honest with you, Georgia didn't recover. The defense didn't play bad. Actually, Georgia outgained Notre Dame. We just made more mistakes than they did. So, disappointed to a season where Georgia really had to bang and battle all year. Carson Beck, who had such promise starting out, wound up having a not up to his standard season. Yes, he did lead the SEC in touchdown passes, but he also turned the ball over at a high rate. And he was hurt in the SEC championship game and has had surgery and declared himself for the NFL draft. Meanwhile, Notre Dame moves on to play in the semifinal next week, Monday, or next week, Thursday, I think, in Miami for the Orange Bowl. So, time to focus on recruiting for Georgia. Real quick before I get to Falcons, uh, in news of the Braves, right-hand pitcher Charlie Morton, who's been with the Braves the last 4 seasons, has agreed in principle to I don't know what type deal. I don't know if it was a 1 or 2 year deal, but he's decided to pitch for the Baltimore Orioles this upcoming season. Good luck to you, Uncle Charlie. Appreciate the years you gave us. Okay. When the day started, it was real simple what had to take place for the Falcons to make it to the playoffs. They had to win and Tampa had to lose. New Orleans actually went out there and they didn't lay down. I'm surprised at that. I was extremely surprised at that. They jumped out on Tampa. They jumped out on them. Went into the third quarter. It was up 16-6, and Tampa wrote the ship, got themselves together, and they eventually came back, won their game. So they clinched the NFC South. And as they was clinching the NFC South, the Falcons was headed to overtime with the Carolina Panthers. And we gave up 44 points in a game that was a must-win. Scotty Robinson was going on. It was a must-win all the way up until Tampa clinched. The Falcons only got the Carolina punter onto the field twice. Bryce Young had a career day today. He accounted for all 6. No, 5 touchdowns. 5 of the 6 touchdowns led them to the game-winning touchdown drive in overtime. And just like that, within a 4-day span, football is all over for me as a fan. Now it's time for the fallout. This was a colossal failure. Raymond Elder, what's going on? And I can't blame no player for this failure. Somebody has to lose their job. And there are several candidates. Of course, it's the head coach, Raheem Morris, both his coordinators, Zach Robinson and Jimmy Lake. But now with this epic failure, you got to start looking towards what's going on in the front office. It may be a front office issue. What's going on? There might be a front office issue. Uh, Arthur Blank at this point has to make some type of a move. I would hate for it to be Terry Fontenot because pretty much Terry Fontenot has followed the script on what was asked out of Arthur Blank, but more importantly, he followed the script out of what was asked of from us, the fans, as a whole. The only thing you might want to charge him with drafting Kyle Pitts instead of not drafting Justin Fields or whoever the quarterback that you so desired did have at it. But make no mistake about it, he flipped the salary cap, that cap situation from red to black. Got our running back of the future, quarterback of the future, our receiver of the future, and whenever Kyle Pitts decides to remove his thumb from his ass, your tight end of the future. Now I'm going to flip to Raheem Morris. He in over his head to me. It's like I said earlier, the failure was it's inexcusable at this point. I can't put emphasis on the players when I watch him blow a season. He blew this season. He guaranteed all of you all that we was going to outrun the South. And we couldn't. He mishandled the quarterback situation. See, it's coming out now. He mishandled it. By playing Kirk Cousins, allegedly, supposedly, when he had been injured. Don't quote me on that. I do not have verifiable proof on that, but that's the general consensus of what's going on. You continue to run him out there knowing that he had an injury. You kept running Cool out there knowing he had a hip situation from early in the season. You could have IR'd Cool so he could get his hip together, and he would have been available for a stretch run. But you ran him out there. He kept aggravating it. Then when you pulled him, he had to be out for the season. Him being injured cost us a game. The clock mismanagement situation. We already, it's well documented. We went over that a lot last week. Just managing the timeouts. But what needs to be his undoing is his specialty is the defensive side of the football. And your defense failed us in the end, Coach Morris. Fans, we can blame Jimmy Lake until we blue in the face. But if any of you all, Aztec, what's going on? If any of you all know how Raheem Morris draw up his schemes and know how Jimmy Lake draw up his schemes, it's abundantly clear and blatantly obvious that defense, Clay, what's going on, that defense had Raheem Morris written all over. I'm going there, Clay. Hey, you right. You already, you already smell where I'm about to go. Uh, he's done several things that are fireable offenses. After what happened in Washington last week, I, as a fan, had already accepted that we wasn't going to the playoffs. So what went on down in Tampa? What went on down in Tampa? Of course, I paid attention to it. I got the Fire Stick and I got access to it, so I can go over there and check out the score. So I ain't gonna sit up here and act like I didn't pay attention. But no, I was not rooting for the fucking Saints. I just paid attention to the game between the Saints and the Bucks. I never even got my hopes up, even when the Saints was up 16-6, because I know how football takes shape. You got a great portion of the fan base that's got a rallying cry about. We talked about this last week. Get a brother a chance. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't. You're not gonna shame me into changing my mind. He needs to be relieved of his duties and ASAP. I don't give a fuck what happened with Arthur Smith, Dan Quinn, Jim Morger. I don't give a flying fuck what happened with them coaches right now. He needs to be relieved of his duty as right now. The likelihood of it happening is probably slim and none, but I'm telling you, he needs to be relieved of his duty. Chosen One, what's going on? And make sure everybody hit them buttons. Everybody in True with 2 TV, Six Man K Styles live, and Man Mike podcast. Everybody, make sure y'all, hey man, y'all look me up, hit me up, man. Hit me up. If you ain't already subscribe to me. If you ain't already subscribed to Six Man K, subscribe to him. Same with Man Mike podcast. Make sure y'all hit them buttons. I'm not falling prey to that pity party about get a brother a chance. I don't want to hear that shit. He told us he's going to outrun the South, and he didn't. And in him not doing it, he played a major part and why it didn't happen. Again, if you want to blame Kirk Cousins, if you blame Kirk Cousins, you still got to go back. You still got to put lay eyes on Raheem Morris because he mismanaged that. I will say it again. This was a colossal failure. Prove it. What's up? All the Bucks did what they supposed to do. They took care of business. We did. Getting back to mismanaging a quarterback situation. He did that. You did that all wrong. You supposed to pull or at least got Kirk some rest. He probably needed a rest a couple of games. And then make this. And then when he comes back to be cleared to be play, excuse me, to be cleared to play, if Penix is looking like he's that dude, then so be it. King Treyway, what's going on? Then so be it, and you make your decision there. But what you don't do is run a quarterback out there, a guy who is limited in mobility. You don't run him out there for 5 straight weeks hurt. And that's what he did. Kirk Cousins played like shit, and he got benched. He went from praising Kirk Cousins to throwing him up under the bus. What I'm saying is absolute fact. And he benched Kirk after a win against the Tampa, against the Oakland Raiders. Another bad move by him was how he handled himself with Mike Bell. How dare you go out here and do dumb shit and then you want to give everybody your ass to kiss on the question answer? Well, you need to be ready for that. Comes with being a head coach, their partner. You got to answer the tough questions, especially when you play the part in the team losing. So all that shit that went on 92.9, and a lot of y'all was goddamn throwing, singing his high praise and patting him on the back and throwing the confetti. I would hate to be the bearer of bad news. That was dumb as fuck how he handled that. Now we're here. Let me just go ahead on and make a proclamation. Not a proclamation, but I'm just going to make a suggestion. I think Arthur Blank is getting up there in age. So he's the owner. So he will not move himself. But I think the Falcons need to rid themselves of anything that was still on the football field February 5th, 2017. We need to rid ourselves of all that. Jake Matthews, Grady Jarrett, thank you for the years. Let's go ahead on and move on from them. See what we can get for those two guys. whatever his title is, Rich McKay, we need to cut that cancer out. He's like a cancer. Yeah, I know that they so-called moved him to be more dealing with the United, but we all knew that was bullshit, and that was a fucking smokescreen. Raheem Morris, we already just talked about him. Let's get rid of all of that. As far as Zach Robinson goes, uh, looked like he's gotten into a rhythm. You know, his issue was he couldn't do it with Kurt. Kurt's mobility was an issue, and they made the change, and it looks like they got some mojo working. Loads of receivers catch the fucking ball. We lost 5 games on our field this year. We went 4-2 in the division, but no way we should have lost any game in that division. We swept the Bucks, but we split with the Saints and the Panthers. Are you fucking kidding me? We got. I put it to you like this. Jolly Gabriel, what's going on? That gravy train, what's happening? Like I said, everybody, make sure y'all hit them buttons. Like, we penciled this team into the Super Bowl. A lot of us fans, especially after the Matthew Judon signing. Three Dirty, what's going on? We penciled this team, us the fans, we penciled this team to the Super Bowl. And we wound up going a 7 straight losing season. Let's talk about his head's got to roll. 45 other people in this chat. Make sure y'all hit them buttons, man. Truth with a 2 TV. 6-Man K Live. Man Mike Podcast. Make sure y'all hit all them buttons. Philip Franklin, what's up? We just can't give the press conference after the game, and then that's over with. We can start moving on towards getting ready for the draft. Somebody's head's got to roll. I hate for it to be Fontenot because pretty much Fontenot is kind of like the wild card on this, because he was brought here. The flip was from the red to the black cap on that cap, and he did. When he got the money to spend, he spent it wisely. Okay, if you want to sit up here and throw a whole hissy fit about the Kirk Cousins contract, actually, once I went and looked at the contract, it was very meticulously done on the contract. Everything was front loaded, and even if we do cut Kirk, Knight Rider, what's going on? Even if we do cut Kirk, it ain't gonna bust us in their ass too bad anyway. And after next year, we'll be good on that. Rich McKay has been an issue for years with the Falcons. He's still heavily involved, trust me. He's been heavily involved in the operations of this team. Maybe not so in the day-to-day, but his input matters. His input mattered enough to pull off of Bill Belichick and hire Raheem Morris. He needs to be relieved of his duty. Like I said, let's just cut that cancer out from February the 5th, 2017. I haven't been this disappointed as a fan because I'm not going to count 28-3. I haven't been this disappointed in a fan, and it goes back to before 28-3 a long time. 28-3 was just what it was, man. I think we all saw the game. Everybody got their theories on what went wrong, why it went wrong, what happened, what went on leading up to the game, what went on after the game, what the fuck went on the headset and all that stuff there. Christopher Wright, what's going on? (28-3) on February 5th, 2017, that was more hurt than disappointment. The fans want answers. The fans want answers. And yes, we're calling for his head after 1 year. Gerard Mayo met that fate. And please, I don't want to get into that other part. And y'all know what that other part is. Because that's already being thrown out there. On the opportunities certain type of candidates get, or the leash that they have. We got a whole off season to talk about that shit. Right now, some heads got to roll. A lot of people saying Jimmy Lake, if he fired Jimmy Lake, he got to fire himself because he claimed that he had his hands on this defensive line. So for those who's calling for Jimmy Lake head, it goes back to it goes back to Raheem Morris. You want to say it was Kirk Cousins. Again, it goes back to Raheem Morris because we started out 6-3. Kirk Cousins, that's right around the time the mysterious injury happened. And then we lost 4 straight to go to 6-7. Then we ended a 4-game win streak in Oakland on Monday night, went to 7-7, and then Oh, by the way, we're gonna make Michael Penix the starter, and he's the starter moving forward. 3 days later, we're gonna release Kirk Cousins before March 10th. Yeah, I just signed this man to a 4-year, $180 million deal. And yes, we know the particulars of the contract, that they more than likely they're not going to see John Parker's going on. We know how to we know everything's front loaded, and it turned out to basically be a 1-year deal. Yes, Kirk Cousins deal turned out to be basically a 1-year deal. They pretty much brought him in here to buy time for Penix to get ready. That's what they did. Zach Robinson's playbook is designed for what it's really for Penix. So a lot of times, Kirk was running plays that was designed for Penix. They never made adjustment to Kirk's strengths. One game, Kirk was allowed to have free reins on his play, on call his own plays. He threw for 509 motherfucking yards. I don't know what change needs to be made, but somebody needs to be gone, and it all got to. It's gonna all point back to Raheem Morris. If you want Terry Fontenot gone, you might as well take Raheem Morris, Jimmy Lake, and Zach Robinson with you, because 9 times out of 10, whoever the new GM that comes in, he's going to bring his own head coach, and that head coach is going to bring his own coordinators. The likelihood of Rich McKay getting fired is slim, because that's Arthur Blank's boy, and that's no secret. But I say, cut that February 5th, 2017 cancer up out of here. Yeah, I say keep Terry as well, because Terry, basically, he ain't done nothing wrong. Okay, y'all get over it. He didn't take Justin Fields. A lot of fans mad about it. Okay, we got a quarterback now, so we can get past that. We got a quarterback of the future. You got a quarterback. You got 2 running backs of the future. I think there's a good chance we may extend Tyler Algier, because the 2 running back system with us would work wonders. They both ate some today. You got your future at wide receiver with Drake London. And we had career year. We had a career year from Ray McLeod. And Hodge, what a hell of a year for that young man. Whenever he was called upon to contribute, he did it in big ways. He winds up getting a Pro Bowl nod as a special teamer. But guess what? Today he started in place of Darnell Mooney. and made a couple of key catches. The future is bright on the offensive side of the football. Defensive side of the football, to me, is in disarray. Maybe 3 guys should feel safe on that defense. Maybe 3. We got 55 other people in chat. Make sure y'all hit them buttons. 6Man K live. True for the 2 TV, Mad Mike podcast. I'm Man OG. True for the 2. Hurts with a Z with the weekend recap. My energy is low. I guess y'all can hear I kind of I'm a little congested. In and out of the weather and shit. I'm okay. I'm a little, it's more up in my head than it is in my chest. I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. Y'all get ready for the originators and the heavy hitters. Mr. White, aka Mr. OG Big Sam, aka Mr. White, will be it. We'll get you started at 10 o'clock in the morning. Man, Mike will do his weekly, his daily 12 noon show. And I'll be back Tuesday night. Me, the main event, LT, the exclusive world of wrestling. Yeah, I heard about the Branch brothers coming to Georgia. That's good. So that's it. Falcons 2024 season ends at an 8-9 record. Let's see what's to come within the next 24 to 48 hours. It'll be Tuesday night at 9 p.m. I'm sorry, yeah, Tuesday night at 9 p.m. for the exclusive world of wrestling. For everybody, 6Man K Live. For everybody, 6Man K Live, Mad Mike Podcast, True for the 2 TV. I'm your man OG, True for the 2. Hurts with a Z. Happy New Year. Godspeed. And we see you guys. I'm out.
Put your eyes back in your head.
Popped out like flavor.